What's going on? What's going on? We
What's
back. We are back.
what's up,
What's
D?
up? What's going on? What's going on, fam? So we back. I think this is episode 8. This is gonna be episode 8, fam, of I'm Taking 15. Of course, the older got my brother, good brother here, Jackson. What's going on? How you doing,
No,
fam?
I'm doing a lot better, man, since I talked this morning.
Yeah,
Feeling
yeah,
really,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
feeling really blessed. Feeling really
Nah,
blessed.
you got to, you got to, even though, we live in some crazy times, it's like, I mean, you gotta feel blessed. You gotta be blessed. We here.
100%.
We here. So, yeah, man. So how long have you been in this space? And when I say space, I mean, the technology space, the crypto space, how long have you been in the space? Because that's what we connected over. You know what I'm saying? You found, our platform online and then, you reached out and it was just like, just started having, just good conversation about, just different possibilities. So what got you involved in, just the technology field?
Bro, honestly, it was an accident, bro. Like you said, we connected on crypto and tech. Honestly, bro, like the first time I learned about Bitcoin is when I was in rehab for drugs and alcohol in
Hmm.
2016. And my homeboy was saying like, yeah, you need to get Bitcoin. I'm like, bro, you shaking in here like me, bro. I'm not listening to nothing you got to say. And
Hmm.
then like
Hmm.
as time went on, I saw what it was really doing. And through the grace of God, um, my barber helped me get sober and, definitely spoke life into me. I went on and got my master's in social work, but I concentrated in social economic development. So, I did a lot of work with like angel investors, looking at just different companies for them to invest in. What
Hmm.
else did I do? I connected with Equifax, where I put together it was called the Barbershop Project, where they wanted to, help improve financial education within low to moderate income communities. And I was just like, yeah, why don't y'all start with the barbershop? And like that was just like a novel idea to him, you know what I'm saying? And so
Right.
so my barber that uh, he was cutting me up when I was in grad school, we did that program together. And we took about 10 participants. They participated in financial coaching and also workforce development. In return, they got 2 free haircuts. And the
Mm.
program, yeah, bro. So the program was going really good. And then COVID hit. But like I was saying, my boy Haven and my girl Jewel, they were cutting me during that time. And they were also with Squire, the company that I used to work with. And so, they really put me on. So I transitioned from social work to technology sales just like that. And so I was with Squire for about 4 years. And
Hmm.
so when you're in those spaces, right, you started meeting people like you and Ashley and rubbing shoulders with other millionaires and billionaires. And the common theme was financial freedom and also crypto. So,
Hmm.
like you mentioned earlier, my cousin Brandon Outlaw, who's also been in the space too, told me about you guys. And, ever since then, that was my journey. But like that's how I got connected with you guys. And y'all really
Shut
held
up.
my family down with that education, bro. Like we were able to, I left Squire in September. Bro, we were able to use DeFi, still currently using DeFi to live off of.
Right.
So yeah, bro, if it
Yeah.
wasn't if it wasn't for y'all, man, I
Nah, nah,
really
nah.
like I'm really indebted to y'all for real.
No, that's what it is though. That's what it is. That's exactly what why we created a platform and stuff like that. Not just to, you know, just speak our truth because, it was actually therapy for me and Ash to just, just talk about this stuff because nobody else was talking about it. But, it transformed into education. So, that's the great thing about it. And then we connect with individuals like yourself. So it's like, everybody's on the same, frequency or a similar frequency, with that. So nah, that's great. That's great, man. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love to hear stuff like that because it make it worth it. It make it worth it at the end of the day. It make it be like, all right, I'm doing it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh,
um,
y'all are doing God's work for real. Like I believe that the closest thing I feel like crypto and blockchain, DeFi and Web3 is the closest thing we're gonna get to reparations.
mm, mm.
You
I
know,
mean,
so like
that's
that's why I really locked in with you guys. So like you guys are really teaching us, the plumbing and more so the infrastructure.
mhm. Very,
So,
very simple, very simple,
right.
very simple. Like we
Yeah.
try not to overcomplicate it, but so yeah, so you got on the tech side, you've been doing your thing. What what's next? What are you passionate about now? Like what are you trying to get into, at this moment? Because we're in 2026, and beyond. What are you trying to get into now?
Yeah, honestly, man, so I started working for this credit card processing company. So,
Hmm.
really quickly, for those that may not know, Squire Technologies is a barbershop management platform. So on the backside, clients are able to book appointments, right? I'm sorry, on the client side, clients are able to book appointments, get their haircuts, and on the back end, barbershop owners are able to keep track of their finances. So, I was one of the top sales reps, and we were just measured on subscription. And then one day they showed us like how much our shops were doing in terms of card processing. So every time someone swipes your card, Squire would get a cut and Stripe was their point of sale. So I'm like, this this is wild. And this is what gets to the what you and Ashley talk about the infrastructure, right? And
Hmm.
so credit card processing is is where it's at. So, I'm doing that right
Yeah.
now. And also too, doing crypto education, really targeting to help barbershop owners and salon owners. Yeah, to help them
Man.
educate them on the space. Because honestly, bro, like another reason why I got so inundated with the barbershop culture is, with our ancestors, they were the first Black entrepreneurs post-slavery that were able to buy our ancestors' freedom.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
So, they're
So
still the community leaders. They cut, there's a barber out there who's cut Mark Zuckerberg, right?
right,
So,
right.
you
For
know what I
sure.
mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
They a staple. They usually a staple, within the community and stuff like that. So nah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So nah, that's great. When you mentioned the transaction, because even if you own like 0.001% of each transaction, it's like now that's the thing. You just got to solve that problem. Like, they were able to solve a problem. Blockchain is going to be able to solve several different problems that go on. So it's like just this is a testament to anybody listening. If you're solving a problem, you're gonna stay paid. If you're solving the bigger the problem, the more money you're gonna get paid. That's just what it is. I mean, it sounds very simple, but it takes it takes a real one to understand like, okay, this is a legit problem. Let me try to solve this. So that's why, I continue doing whatever I can just to push the message out there and just inspire others to just do for themselves. So no, that's what it is. Um yeah, so you told me what you're passionate about now. Um where do you see stuff going? I know, we're in a, hazy time period right now. Where do you see things going? Like in the immediate.
I think, excuse me, I think if we, our culture has always been our currency, right? And I think
Facts,
to get
facts.
real world adoption, it's a matter of, of course, they're working on institutions, but at the same time, they need retail investors. So whoever can match the culture with crypto and blockchain like you guys are doing, but also find a different industry,
Mm-hmm.
right? So like for me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm working on the barbershop and salon space. You know, the people that are involved in things like that, I feel like it's I feel like people are going to do numbers, right? And also using, this AI, ChatGPT was cool, but Claude, bro, I've been on that heavy, man.
Yeah, Claude
So,
is crazy. Claude is
bro,
crazy. And
bro,
Anthropic is doing some big things. Anthropic is definitely doing some big things, fam. Like I can't even front. Like when it comes to when it comes to AI now, like I'm not gonna open AI is not like leading anymore. I don't feel like they're leading anymore. I feel like it's Claude, which is Anthropic, and then you
right.
got Google Gemini is tight too. Cause
I haven't used that yet.
well, I mean, even if you go to Google, if you go under AI mode,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
say you type that's Gemini. That's essentially Gemini. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? So it it's legit because Google is giving you real-time data, real-time news. Like their feed
mm.
is just constantly changing with the real-time news. So they integrate that within their structure is kind of like, yeah, nah, Gemini's dope. DeepSeek. DeepSeek is another one that's dope
I
as far
haven't
as
used DeepSeek yet.
LLMs and stuff like that. Yeah, nah,
See,
there's a couple tight
you
ones.
stay educated, man. You stay
Yeah,
educating.
yeah, yeah. I definitely gotta know what's on the board, especially with this AI stuff. Because it's gonna make things easier. It's gonna make things easier. It's gonna make businesses, roll easier. It's gonna be able to solve problems way faster. It's just what side are you gonna be on? You're gonna be on the consumer side or you're gonna be on the producer side, right? So that's the main thing. That's the main thing. So nah, this is good. This is good though. We got about 2 minutes left.
Okay, bet.
I guess what would your message be to people, you know, trying to figure it out or trying to, figure out what to do in this time period rather.
Definitely. Honestly, and this is something that, like we talked about earlier, being humbled, right? It's like when you're making a lot of money, right? It's easy to not put God first. Right. And I think
Mm,
now's the time more than ever to get your spirit right because we're being inundated with AI, we're being inundated with so much propaganda. And, if your spirit isn't right, if your nervous system isn't right, you won't be able to handle the money. Right. And so like I'm speaking for myself, you know what I'm saying? Making a lot of
hmm
money, losing money, making it all over again. And so, when I started putting, God first and, things always are going to work out. And, and by doing that, he's blessed me with so many different ideas. I'm looking at stable coins. That, like you guys said, that's huge. These cross-border payments
hmm
to bypass FX. So just really, I would, like I said, man, I would have never really tapped into that had I not been in alignment. So I think like that's my biggest message. Get your spirit right, put God first and get into alignment, And that's something that I struggle with on a daily basis, but at the same time, I know that during these times, that's the main thing to focus on.
Man, nah, that's 1,000, man. That's 1,000. I can't. That's a mic drop right there, fam. Because you can't compete with that. You can't compete with with God. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to just be like, all right, well, this. But once you drop that, it's just like ain't nothing else I can follow up with that. But Listen. It's been a pleasure, with this conversation. Appreciate you for pulling up. Appreciate y'all for, joining us, whether you're on your break, whether at school, whether you just taking some time. Listen, we're gonna put Jackson's information, his contact at the description. So make sure, you connect with him, right? Stuff he was talking about was very interesting. So we're gonna put your information down there. And brother, appreciate you. Appreciate you for pulling up for sure.
It was an honor, my brother.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll see y'all next time. And peace out.